Alexandra Murray. I'm in Psych 223. I'm going to be talking about Unit 4 on the nervous system. I'm going to start off with the nervous system being made up of billions of single nerve cells called neurons. The neurons are made up of dendrites, axons, and terminal fibers with impulses being electrochemical and moving in only one direction. Types of neurons are called afferent, which are the sensory neurons that go to the central nervous system. The other type is called efferent, which are the motor neurons coming from the CNS, which is also called the central nervous system. Now, around the axons is a white fatty insulator coating called the myelin sheath that speeds the conduction of neural impulses that can have a speed of 100 meters per second when sending messages from one end to the other. When the myelin sheath disintegrates, however, it can cause multiple sclerosis and less physical coordination. Transmission of neural impulses are transmitted between neurons, and the impulse must cross a microscopic synaptic gap between the neurons, sending messages in between both ends of the neuron. They are the neurotransmitters, which are the chemicals in the synapse which floats across the gap. The other part of the nervous system is the autonomic nervous system that influences involuntary muscles like the heart and digestive tract. The sympathetic branch mobilizes resources for a fight-flight response where the adrenaline kicks in. The parasympathetic branch conserves the body's resources after injury or exhaustion. Biofeedback monitors the ANS activity electronically. The limbic system, part of the brain, develops in adolescence very rapidly and influences emotions and internal organs. It includes the amygdala, which are masses of neurons involved with memory, arousal, and also fear. The hippocampus, which processes memory and learning, and also the hypothalamus, which is one of the most busiest parts of the brain, which works like a thermostat for the body to regulate body temperature, which is also called homeostasis. The last part of the limbic system is the thalamus, which is the relay station for emotions. To study the brain for such activities is important for also finding brain lesions, which are damages of the brain that is usually permanent. Some types of damage in the body usually heals itself, but brain damage cannot be healed precisely. Some ways the brain can be observed is by ESB, an electric stimulation of the brain, or EEG, an electroencephalography study of brainwaves. Scanning with CT scans, PET, and MRI can detect brain defects such as cancer or metabolic abnormalities like Alzheimer's. Every part of the brain has an important duty. The cerebrum, which is the outermost part of the brain, is proportionally the largest part of the brain. The cortex is the outer layer that processes new information. Now, if the cerebral cortex deteriorates, the person could get disoriented and even confused. The cerebrum is divided into two hemispheres, the left being concerned with language and math, and the right being concerned with special relations and more artistic. Each hemisphere controls the opposite side of the brain, having reverse functions, which also functions as the opposite of the body. The left having more sequential thought, language, and math abilities, with the right having more spatial functions with artistic and creativity, intuition, and thought. Now, the areas of the brain where language is produced is the Broca's area, where speech is forming words and speech is developed. If that area is damaged, the person would have problems with talking and forming words. Now, another area for language is the Wernicke's area for language comprehension. If that is damaged, persons would have problems with understanding what other people are saying. The lobes of the brain are divided by the occipital, which is in the rear of the brain, which is for vision. The temporal, which is on each side of the brain, is for hearing, and parietal on top for other senses, and frontal on the front of the brain for emotions. The cerebellum, located in the back underneath the occipital lobe, functions for the movement, posture, and balance. A brain can develop a syndrome, which is a specific cluster of symptoms and diseases. A couple organic brain syndromes can occur like ABS and CBS. A brain can develop ABS is acute brain syndrome, which is now referred as delirium, and is very serious. and is happening in the person right now in the present. CBS, chronic brain syndrome, which is now called dementia, lasts long for a long period of time and it's gradual. Symptoms of delirium comes rapidly and can be anywhere from being in a confused state, bedridden, going in and out of sleep, quick onset, where the patient may recover or even die. Some risk factors of delirium can be from age, pre-existing brain disease, and medications. Causes of delirium can come from a fever, dehydration, drugs, or chemicals. Delirium could be caused by multiple things all at the same time. Now, on the other hand, dementia symptoms, which affects the cerebrum, can be short-term memory loss, disorientation as to time, space, person, language, and loss of ability to perform functions. It is not really curable, and it can't reverse it or stop it, and the progression happens over time until death. A patient can have more than one cause of dementia. Alzheimer's, which causes neuron damage and deterioration, comes 60% in late life of dementia. Strokes and multi-infarct, which are many strokes all over time. Vascular insufficiency, long-term of alcoholism, and syphilis, leading to paralysis, which goes to the brain and eats away brain cells. Or also, on the other hand, Creutzfeldt-Jakob, which is mad cow, Huntington's, AIDS, and Parkinson's. Some risk factors of dementia can be age, Down syndrome, and head injury genetics. Laugh at me.